方始终按照习近平主席提出的相互尊重、和平共处、合作共赢3原则发展中美关系。同时，我们坚定不移地捍卫自身主权、安全、发展利益。中方不回避，也不惧怕竞争。我们反对的是以竞争定义整个中美关系，反对以竞争之名行遏制、打压之实。中方愿在相互尊重、平等互惠的基础上，同美方在双多边领域开展沟通合作，但必须指出，美方不能一边谈沟通、谈合作，一边干涉中国内政，损害中国利益。台湾问题是中国核心利益中的核心，是中美关系的政治基础，是中美关系第一条不可逾越的红线。美方任何时候都不要试图突破这条红线。在国际禁毒领域，中国是全球第一个正式整类列管芬太尼类物质的国家。我们一直在联合国禁毒公约框架下，大力开展国际禁毒执法合作。反而是美方对中方有关机构的制裁，严重影响和限制了中方禁毒工作能力。中方对此坚决反对。美方也应当深刻反思国内禁毒不力的问题，而不是一味地甩锅推责。在乌克兰、朝鲜半岛核等问题上，中方一向致力于政治解决和劝和促谈，反对火上浇油和激化矛盾的言行。中方的政策和立场经得起事实和历史的检验。一个健康稳定的中美关系攸关两国人民利益和世界的前途命运。希望美方同中方相向而行，坚持对话而非对抗、双赢而非零和的交往基调，以实际行动将两国元首的重要共识落到实处，推动中美关系重回健康稳定发展的轨道。
The mighty aircraft carrier Nimitz, leading a carrier strike group, is now in the South China Sea to demonstrate U.S. military power to the Chinese regime. According to Reuters, Nimitz entered the South China Sea 2 weeks ago as part of a U.S. commitment to uphold freedom of navigation in the region's waters that are vital to global trade. Rear Admiral Christopher Sweeney told Reuters, "We are going to sail, fly, and operate wherever international norms and rules allow. We're going to do that safely, and we're going to be resolute about that. It's really just about sailing and operating, obviously with our allies and partners in the area, and assuring them of free and open commerce and trade in the Indo-Pacific." The Nimitz Carrier Strike Group 11 consists of the guided missile carrier Bunker Hill and the guided missile destroyers Decantor, Wayne E. Meyer, and Chung Hoon. The U.S. allies such as Japan, Korea, Australia, and the Philippines welcome U.S. military presence in the South China Sea, a key international route of about $3.4 trillion in trade annually. U.S. presence challenges its rival Chinese regime, which sees American forces as provocations in its own backyard. The Chinese regime claims almost the entire South China Sea, including the exclusive economic zones of Brunei, Malaysia, the Philippines, and Vietnam. Reuters reported that Rear Admiral Sweeney said the U.S. military presence in the South China Sea showed its commitment to its regional allies, and it was important to follow international rules. He said, "We are going to sail, fly, and operate wherever international water allows us, so we're not going anywhere." At the same time, a top Air Force general predicted that the Chinese regime would be at war with the U.S. 2 years from now in his memo to soldiers under his command on Friday. According to NBC News, General Mike Minihan, head of the Air Mobility Command, sent the memo to the officers under his command, warning them about the potential conflict and telling them to prepare for war. Minihan's timeline prediction for a possible war with the Chinese regime is significantly shorter than any other senior U.S. military official. Wang Huning is considered the brains of 3 generations of general secretaries from Jiang Zemin to Hu Jintao and now Xi Jinping. Wang is the architect of Jiang's 3 representation theory. After that, Wang made an important contribution to the development of Hu Jintao's concept of scientific development. When Xi Jinping came to power in Xi's first term, Wang helped Xi develop the Belt and Road Initiative, followed by the China Dream in Xi's second term. Wang was especially close to all 3 general secretaries. Meanwhile, Hu Jintao and Xi Jinping considered Jiang Zemin a mortal enemy. Analysts say Wang's power extends far beyond his specific role. On December 16, 2021, expert Hugh Hewitt, in a Washington Post article, rated Wang as a political figure with extraordinary influence over Xi Jinping. Because of this, Wang is considered the most dangerous person in the world. At CCP's 20th Congress, Xi kept Wang on the Politburo's Standing Committee. Nikkei reported that, in Xi's third term, Wang is preparing a new theory for him to serve Xi's ambition to unify Taiwan. Specifically, Wang is drafting a strategic theory for the United Front of Taiwan, intended to replace Deng Xiaoping's one country, two system policy. Thanks to one country, two systems, the CCP has made Hong Kongers accept to leave the UK and return to the CCP. However, reports pointed out that the CCP has proven to be a lying organization when blatantly violating this policy. Hong Kongers have been repeatedly deprived of their basic freedoms, especially after the CCP passed a national security law that suppressed and arrested several pro-democracy activists in Hong Kong. Wang Huning's new theory was born amid the CCP's one country, two system policy, which was exposed to be a trap. Now the CCP is expecting Wang's new policy to be able to convince the Taiwanese to accept unification. If that happens, the CCP will not have to fire a bullet and still achieve its purpose. However, commentator Li Linyi said that Wang's new theory would not work. Because the CCP has revealed its false and malicious face, Taiwanese will not fall into its trap like the Hong Kong people did.
Pfizer ultimately is thinking about mutating COVID?
Well, that is not what we say to the public. No. Don't tell anyone this.
Recently, this video has caught a lot of attention. In it, a so-called Pfizer director was approached by an undercover journalist from Project Veritas. According to this Pfizer staffer, COVID-19 has been a cash cow for the company, and he even claims they are researching gain-of-function mutations to make new variants for producing the vaccines.
You're not supposed to do gain-of-function research with the viruses, they recommend not. But you do these selected directional mutations to try to see if you can make more potent.
Now here's some questions. Is this person really from Pfizer? Is it true that Pfizer is doing something dangerous? And how much should we care about the situation? From what we found out, the person in the video, Jordan Tristan Volker, did attend medical school at Southwestern University in Texas and finished his bachelor's study at Yale University in 2013. His LinkedIn page, which is no longer available, used to show that he once referred to himself as Director Worldwide R&D Strategic Operations and mRNA Scientific Planning at Pfizer. Interestingly, right after this video went viral, a statement released by Pfizer on January 27 did not mention Jordan's name, neither admitting or denying he's part of Pfizer. Now, in the same statement, Pfizer also claims that the company did not conduct gain-of-function or direct evolution research in the current development of COVID-19 vaccines. However, in a limited number of cases, it might have done so to enable the assessment of antiviral activity in cells. Given that the Project Veritas has been described by some US media as far-right social media, adept at editing and splicing videos to mislead the public and create scientific and political conspiracy theories, we might not need to worry so much about the science part. But things just don't add up. What about the limited number of cases of gain-of-function Pfizer admits it conducts? Why Jordan's video on YouTube has been deleted? If you Google his name, nothing substantial will come up. Who's behind all these? We don't know the answer for now, but we'll keep looking. The mainstream US media seem to tell people everything, but sometimes when it comes to things that really matter, they tell people nothing at all. Alright, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. If you like our video, please remember to click like and subscribe. I'm Sina. I'll see you guys next time. Bye for now.
世界各国疫情放缓，纷纷撤除公共场所戴口罩规定。韩国从1月30号起，室内口罩禁令解除。日本则宣布，今年5月8号起，将 COVID-19 警戒等级降为流感，进一步回归正常生活。台湾也宣布未来开放的5大方向。
第一个是口罩的这个第2阶段的开放，然后接下来就是边境它的这个0+7的这个调整，还有这个拓筛要不要持续。另外，那确诊者隔离的政策也可能会做一些调整。好，那再来就是这个确诊者通报定义的改变，然后还有就是这个我们第5类改第4类这个改类。好，那这些我们都已经进入这个实质的讨论。
指挥中心表示，口罩禁令解除以及边境检疫的调整会先进行。其他如确诊者隔离政策、确诊者通报定义、疫情分类等级相关细节，还需要经过讨论后再公告。而口罩禁令解除，本周内就会宣布。
口罩的部分第二阶段开放，那我们目前还在讨论当中。那详细的实施的日程，它的内容这周就会这几天就会公布。
而中国大陆疫情严峻，指挥中心1月起针对中国入境旅客裁减44977人，其中4142人确诊，阳性率9.2%。目前针对中国入境旅客，并没有监测到未知的新变异株。新唐人亚太电视黄燕玲台湾台北报道。